Founding Fathers Research Project by Zadecyn. George Washington. George Washington was born on February 22, 1732 in Westmoreland County, Virginia. His wife was Martha Dandridge Washington. He had no children, but he had stepchildren. His mom was Marybelle Washington, and his dad was Augustine Washington. His temper was naturally high-toned. He was the commander of the Continental Army. He believed that the creation of political parties was a divisive step for the American government and people. Sadly, he died on December 14, 1799. One of his most famous quotes was, "If the freedom of speech is taken away, then dumb and silent we may be led, like sheep to the slaughter." Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson was born on April 13, 1743 in Albemarle County, Virginia. His wife was Martha Whaley Skelton Jefferson. His children were Martha and Mary Jefferson. His mom was Jane Randolph Jefferson, and his dad was Peter Jefferson. His temper was naturally strong and under perfect control. Also, he was the author of the Declaration of Independence. He favored states' rights over a strong central government. He supported the idea that states could nullify federal laws. Sadly, he died on July 4, 1826. One of his most famous quotes was, "Honesty is the first chapter in the Book of Wisdom." John Adams. John Adams was born on October 30, 1735 in El Branch, now known as Quincy, Massachusetts. His wife was Abigail Smith Adams, and his children were Abigail, John Quincy, Charles Thomas, and a daughter who died young. His mom was Susanna Adams. His dad was John Adams, Sr. He was regarded as a popular leader, someone even his peers looked up to, but there were certain inner dilemmas or strife, rather, that he had to deal with. He became the second president. Sadly, he died on July 4, 1826. One of his most famous quotes was, "I must study politics and war that my sons may have liberty to study mathematics and philosophy." James Madison. James Madison was born on March 16, 1751 in Port Conway, Virginia. His wife was Dolly Payne Todd Madison. He had no children. His mom was Eleanor Rose Conway, and his dad was James Madison, Sr. Madison was shy and reserved with strangers and never learned the politically useful art of small talk. James Madison wrote the first draft of the U.S. Constitution. He thought it was important for this new structure to have a system of checks and balances in order to prevent the abuse of power by any one group. Sadly, he died on June 28, 1836. One of his famous quotes was, "Liberty may be endangered by the abuse of liberty, but also the abuse of power." Samuel Adams. Samuel Adams was born on September 27, 1722 in Boston, Massachusetts. He had two wives. One was Elizabeth Wells and the other was Elizabeth Checkley. His children were Hannah and Samuel Adams. His mom was Mary Adams and his dad was Samuel Adams, Sr. Samuel Adams was strong-willed and stout. He helped organize the Boston Tea Party and signed the U.S. Declaration of Independence. Adams served as a legislator of Massachusetts from 1765 to 1774. Among his accomplishments, he founded Boston's Committee of Correspondence. Sadly, he died on October 2, 1803. One of his most famous quotes was, "It does not take a majority to prevail, but rather an irritated, tireless minority keen on setting brushfires of freedom in the minds of men." Patrick Henry. Patrick Henry was born on May 29, 1736 in Hanover County, Virginia. Patrick Henry also had two wives. One of them was Sarah Shelton and the other was Dorothea Dandridge. Patrick Henry had 16 children: Jane Robertson Henry, Alexander Spotswood Henry, Sarah Butler Henry, and 13 more. His mom was Sarah Winston Syme, and his dad was John Henry. Patrick Henry was passionate. In his lifetime, he became a lawyer. He was against the Constitution because he was concerned that the office of the president would become a monarchy. Sadly, he died on June 6, 1799. One of his most famous quotes was, "I know not what others may choose, but as for me, give me liberty or give me death." James Monroe. James Monroe was born on April 28, 1758 in Westmoreland County, Virginia. His wife was Elizabeth Cartwright Monroe, and his children were Eliza and Marion Monroe. His mom was Elizabeth Jones Monroe, and his dad was Spence Monroe. James Monroe had a warm personality. He became the fifth president. Also, he made U.S. policy that stated that if a European country were to attack or colonize any country in the Americas, the United States would consider it an act of war. Sadly, he died on July 4th, 1831. One of his most famous quotes was, "National honor is the national property of the highest value." Benjamin Franklin. Benjamin Franklin was born on January 17, 1706 in Boston, Massachusetts. His wife was Deborah Reed. His children were William Franklin, Sarah Franklin Bache, Francis Folger Franklin. His mom was Avia Folger, and his dad was Josiah Franklin. He was honest, humorous, and a great patriot. He always told the truth, told lots of jokes, helped his country, and laughed at his mistakes. Lots of kids loved him. He helped write the Declaration of Independence. Benjamin Franklin's view on law revolved around the idea that the people should choose the government. For example, the people choose representatives that they feel will better the country. Sadly, he died on April 17, 1790. One of his most famous quotes was, "An investment in knowledge pays the best interest." The end.